Alright, everyone, time to take a look at the final episode of the day, which is Death of the Heroic Master. The entries from Dire Rangers continue to fight Cytos and the Kopodoros to protect the antenna, but Cytos advises that duel is about to begin and they can't do anything about it. At the palace, General Tempo checks on the Emperor but sees Shaddam doing something to him, discovering him having a bizarre clay hand. Stating he's seen too much and slashes him down, Kaku checks on him, but Shaddam claims he's rebelled against the Emperor as the general tries to reveal something about Gorma 15 as he's carried out the battle by several Kopodoros. As the High Gorma official dies. Shaddam merely laughs at the concern. At the Gorma Coliseum, the crowds are in anticipation discussing who between Kaku and Shaddam will win as Gara watches on the side. The two Gorma elite walk towards each other from opposite sides of the Coliseum before turning to the Emperor. The Kopodoros announce the arrival of Gorma 15 as he rises and stares at the two combatants before throwing a pinwheel at them, telling them to fight freely. The pinwheel spins and a gong is rung. Starting the battle, the two stare at each other before charging with the next. Kaku and Shaddam clashing swords. At the antenna, Cytos releases his death bomb destruction move from his hand, hitting the Dire Rangers and throwing them to the ground. Ryosei Wondai has written ads that they're doing this so the Master can fight. Cytos creates a ball of energy, telling them to get out of his way or they'll die. The team stands to make a barricade of ki. This is about Cytos Yo as Rain worries about the Master. Kaku and Shaddam continue to use their swords to attack one another, slashing each other to the excitement of the crowd before Kaku throws Shaddam over his head. Shaddam then clashes again before his sword is thrown out of his hand and grabbed by Kaku. Places both of his neck before kicking him down and dropping them to the ground and away from them. Kaku enters the Kempo pose, but Shaddam breathes Yo energy from his mouth, throwing him down, stating this move will cost him his life. Kaku summons the power of the Ki and Yo towers and performs a great fusion, sending both energy into himself and charging himself, striking everyone as he performs a Ki power Yo power great fusion, blasting Shaddam into a cliff before he falls to the ground. Shaddam says that Cytos hasn't destroyed the towers yet, striking Kaku as Gara leaves the battle. The Dire Rangers continue to hold up Cytos' Yo energy blast. The general tells them to stop resisting before he unleashes a powerful bolt blast, destroying the Yo power tower, making Ryu yell out for their master. At the battle, Ko releases a Yo free moving rope, but something smacks him, making Kaku shocked as Shaddam slashes him down, declaring that it took a while, but this is the end here before slashing him with the sword again. The Dire Rangers fall down from the fallen tower, Cytos mocking them that they shouldn't be so down as Rin declares they have to protect the Ki power tower as a brute blasts more Yo towards them. As Ryo falls, the efforts of the Dire Rangers kept are recalled once again. Jin's coin, Kaku's feather, the Gorma Stooges flag, Kami eternal form, and Ko's mother's ring, making the team rise up to Rio states, Rio states are telling them, "What are you doing? We're with you." Rio states they can't lose as the artifacts form their mythical ki beasts forms and unleash their ki towards the Gorma Palace, returning the heavily treasured light jewels and earth changers to them as the visions acknowledge them and tell them to do their best to keep going before they vanish. With their earth changers back, the team transformed into Dire Rangers once again. Cytos declares it impossible as Rio states it's time for payback. Suddenly, Ko and Byakushikin rush to the scene, saying he wants to fight with them in this battle, becoming Kiba Ranger. Angered and wanting to just crush them, Cytos throws out a growth bomb to become a giant. The Dire Rangers summon the mythical ki beasts informing Daireno and One Tiger. With Ko excited for the battle, the two mecha fight the giant general as he punches and pushes the team around until he sees Gara by the Ki power antenna, telling her to destroy it. At the acknowledgement and stating as aid of Kaku, the general obliterates the second antenna as the team yells out for their master. In the Gorma Coliseum, Shaddam slashes Kaku with superior strength before blasting with Yo, starting the Emperor, but the master taking pose until finally falling. Shaddam states that the antenna are done for, and with that, he is the victor of the duel, but Kaku staggers to his feet once more. Thanking Gara, Cytos says the Dire Ranger team are finished and it's time to reveal his great secret. As his eyes glow, his mask comes off and multiple volcanoes are revealed on his head, unleashing this great raging eruption which destroys everything it touches and crushes the Rangers. However, Kami approaches its Eladriel, stating it's his turn, trains Mugen and tells the team to get on his back, leading to the formation of the heavy armored keep house and the team using Great Death Crush to squash Zydos with ease. As the battle ends, Zydos turns to normal size with the Rangers pursuing him and prepares to fight him, but then suddenly sees his legs turning to dirt and clay as they collapse apart, forcing him to the ground. He wonders what happens as his hands collapse to the ground and his entire body is transformed into a clay doll. He yells for help as he completely turns into a clay statue, yelling about his glory as his body crumbles apart to its end, striking Gora and forcing her to run away. Realizing they have to save Kaku, Kami reveals the secret tunnel beneath Diamond's headquarters, which can take them to him. At the Colosseum, Shadama is disorienting and dragging Kaku around, with Gorma lightning throwing him to the ground before pronouncing his finisher, charging towards him and stabbing his body. As he falls, the Damagers charge through the tunnel with their keeper machines until they reach the Gorma Palace, realizing how it's just too big, but seeing the remains of the completed battle nearby, which they run to and discover their fallen master. Rushing to him, Kaku opens his eyes and realizes it's the team. Shoji apologizes to him as Kazu states they couldn't consider how he felt. Kaku states he's the one who should be apologizing, lamenting that he lost to Shaddam, and the only one who can stop their pending attacks on Earth are the Dire Rangers themselves. Kaku states there's still a mystery about Gorma 15, and the team shouldn't let their guard down as the fighters start to sob, before Kaku raises his hand one last time. Being crushed by his 5 team members together, before he places his other hand on top of them. The Master wonders if these are their hands before he falls. Master Kaku finally passes away at the grief of the 5 he cared for and the sorrow of the Dire Rangers being released from within. Each member showing their sorrow in their own way, from Shoji screaming and Kazu sobbing, to Dago's silence, to Ryorin's close sobbing near their fallen friend and leader. Yet within the Gorma Palace, Shaddam laughs at his victory. Oh boy. So anyway, let's take a look at a note from this episode. This is the final appearance of many allies in the season, including Jin Motoba, the 3 Gorma Stooges, and the mother of Ko and Akumaru. So I think this episode is really, really sad, and yeah, it's a shame that Kaku had to die like that, so yeah. So overall, I give Death of the Heroic Master 5 Megazords out of 5. Well, in tune tomorrow as we take a look at the penultimate episode of the series, The Final Showdown. So until then, in the words of Zordon, may the power protect you.